Okay, so let's try to get started with an actual FHIR server. So I have this server hosted for you, fire-bootcamp.medblocks.com/FHIR. This is the same FHIR server that all of our bootcamp students use, but it's completely open and anyone on the internet can access this as well. So let's try to get an intuition of what the access to this FHIR server looks like. To learn more about FHIR, we just released an entire course on FHIR and it's completely free. You can just go to our website and then I'll also put a link down below. You can enroll in this course for free today. Now I have Postman already installed. I'll leave a link below on how you can set this up. So this is again a program that helps you interact with the server. You can make HTTP calls, all of the get, post, put and delete that we talked about. Now we'll try to interact with this FHIR server. So now if I just make a GET request to the base URL, it will tell me that this is the base URL of the FHIR server, which indeed it is. Unable to handle this request as it does not contain a resource type or operation name. Okay, perfect. Now let's try to list all the patients on this FHIR server. Again, it's very simple. We just do /patient. That's about it. And we get all of the patients that are available on this FHIR server. And we are seeing a lot of people, Rahul, John Doe, again, another Rahul, another Isabella White. And again, these might be real people as well who have been working with the same FHIR server. Now, what you will notice is that this can actually also be done in the browser directly, because by default, when you do a request in the browser, it does a GET request, right? So if you're able to do this, you can actually see that you get the same response, and you can just copy paste this URL and you'll get a list of all the patients that are available on this FHIR server. Now what we've just done is we've done the search operation. Now we'll try and explore how we can do all of these other operations. So let's try to create a patient. So in the previous lesson, we actually saw how you can create a patient. We did that using ChatGPT and Cursor here, but let's actually just copy this patient. Let's go back to Postman and let's say raw and let's say JSON and let's paste this in. Okay. Now, once we have this, all you need to do is do a post on patient and let's hit send. Then you see the result and it says that, okay, patient is created. 201 indicates a new resource was created successfully. Good, we have everything. And you also see that it gave a few automatically generated fields back. So we have this ID, we have this version ID, we have when it was last updated, we have the automatically generated text body, and we have all of the data that we also provided it with. Now let's see how would you get this patient back, right? So now this is again like we are able to create a patient by making a post request. Let's see what you can do to get this back, right? Like it's again a get request, and as we saw earlier, it is just get patient / the patient ID. And in fact, if you just get this ID back and then add it here, and you get this patient back, right? And you can actually do this anywhere. You can do this in the browser as well, and you will get back this exact same patient. Now, let's see how we can update this patient, right? So let's say I want to change my name. Let's say I want to change my name from Sidharth Ramesh to, I don't know, just Sid Suresh. Okay. And I want to change my email ID to, I don't know, sid2@medblocks.com. So if I want to update this, then I again have to use the put request. Very simple. I just use the same URL, click on send. Again, it tells me cannot update resource. Resource body must contain an update for element. Okay. So although we are putting the ID here, it also expects us to have this ID field in here as well. Okay. So let's add that and then now send. And then we see that again, it has created another version of our FHIR resource. This is on version 2. And we see Sid Suresh and sid2@medblocks.com. All right, so we have updated this resource, right? So very simple, very clean. Now, how do you delete this? Let's say you want to get rid of the patient from the server. Very simple again, you just change the method to delete. You don't need anybody here and click on send. And it tells you successfully deleted one resource in 8 milliseconds. Now let's try to get this patient back, and it tells me that error, the resource was deleted on this particular date, which we just did. So that's again we covered almost all of the methods. We saw how you can create a patient, how you can read a particular patient resource, how you can update it, how you can delete it, how you can search. So we saw all of this now for the patient resource. But then it doesn't change that much for any resource that you want to work with. If you want to work with an observation resource, just change the URL. Everything else works exactly the same. So again, this is something that I really want you to try out as we are covering. So do, download Postman, download another application like Insomnia, all of that is fine. Just make sure that you are able to make these requests and use the public FHIR-bootcamp.medblocks.com endpoint and try to explore the resources that are available on this server. So let's do a quick exercise before we move on to the next one. So create a FHIR resource on the FHIR server that we just mentioned. So it's FHIR-bootcamp.medblocks.com, and just create any patient, maybe put in your own details, maybe someone else's details, but then make sure that you retrieve the patient ID back and then include that in the comments down below. Now, along with the patient ID, also check the comment that you see right below yours, and then take this ID and then check that it actually exists on the FHIR server, and then say whether it exists or it doesn't work, right? So your exercise submission should look a little like, okay, this is my ID for my patient, and then the ID below me works or doesn't work. And just put that down below in the comments. So far, we've been dealing with the patient resource, and we have actually taken a look at how you can do CRUD operations on the patient resource. But it's actually, FHIR resources have references to one another. So most of the time, you'll have one resource referencing to another one. Like we've seen, for example, an observation resource might reference back to a patient. So in this lesson, let's take a look at how references work in the context of a FHIR server. So let's actually take an example observation. So I have hemoglobin HB, this is A1C, HbA1c in blood. Now it's referencing this imaginary patient called 123. So let's actually try to post this. Let's go to Postman. And again, I have created this patient, and we know this is the ID of this patient. We'll come back to this later. But let's actually just duplicate this, and let me call it create observation. And I'll also use this observation here for the post request. Yeah. So now in the body, I'm going to change this to what we have here. Let's try to post this. Now it gives us an error. It says that, oh, resource patient 123 not found, specified in path observation.subject. Now the FHIR server here is smart enough to understand that this actually constitutes a reference to another resource. And what we need is we need an ID of a patient that actually exists in here. Right, so let's take a look at how we can do that. Now we can actually just copy this patient ID that we created, and we can put it in here. And let's try to post this. Now that worked, and it was successful, and it actually now belongs to this patient, right? Now a consequence of this is that this particular patient that we created is actually referencing other resources. So the FHIR server is also smart enough to not let us directly delete this patient. So let's actually try and delete this patient. So it'll tell you that, oh, unable to delete this patient because at least one resource has a reference, and that is this observation, right? So the FHIR server, most FHIR servers are actually smart enough to understand that one resource references another, and you kind of need to delete all the referencing resources before you're able to actually delete like an actual resource. And this is again referential integrity being implemented at the level of the FHIR server. So most FHIR servers, in this case we are using HappyFHIR, will implement some sort of mechanism to check that the reference is valid. So if you need to create an observation that references to a patient, for example, you need a valid patient ID. And please note that this ID is always going to be this ID field, and it is not the identifier field, which is also available in most resources. So you always have to use the logical ID. So this is the same ID with which you make a GET request for the resource. So that's how you create another resource that references back to patient. We saw how we can list all patients on a FHIR server. So now this is just a subset of what you can do with search in general. And in this lesson, we'll take a look at how you can search patients on your FHIR server. So if you go to the patient resource and then just scroll all the way down, you'll see all of the different search parameters that the patient resource supports. So in this case, let's pick something, for example, name, and then we could just add a question mark after patient and then say name equals Sidharth, and it will only give me patients who are named Sidharth. Right, so I got Sidharth Ramesh, multiple of Sidharth Rameshes. I have tried this multiple times before the course. So let's again go back. Let's try something else. So we have birth date, for example. And again, note that the name of the search parameter may not always equal the name of the field. So here you see what exact data point it represents in the patient resource. In this case, it's birth date, but then this is a capital D and this is a small d. And for example, patient.address.use is represented using the search parameter address-use, right? So it may not always be the same. Now, if you look at the type here, it says date, and this is quite important because that determines what kind of operations you can do with this. So let's say we want to do birth date. So let's do birth date equals 1997. So we got all of the patients with birth date of 1997. So we can see that 1997, 11/11. Same here, 1997, 11/11. So what if you want patients who are older than 1997, right? So you want anyone lesser than 1997. So in that case, you can actually look at the date, click on that, and it should tell you all of the different other things that you can do. So you can do equal to a date, you can do not equal to a date, you can do less than, you can do greater than. So in this case, let's actually do LT 1997. So that should give us all patients who are lesser than the date of birth of 1997. So we got 1977, we got John Powderly, which is 1969, and we got Taylor Swifty with 1969. So we got all sorts of people here. Yeah. So along with the search parameters that are documented at the bottom of a resource, you also have a bunch of common search parameters. So you have things like last updated, ID, and a bunch of other things that are just common for every single resource. Now, there are also search modifiers. So for example, let's say I wanted to get a list of all females on the FHIR server. So let's say I just want to do gender equals female. So I got all of the females on the FHIR server. And let's say I want to sort them by birth date, right? I want to see who the oldest female is on this FHIR server. I can just do birth date, and I can actually do underscore sort and then say birth date, right? So now this will give me the oldest available, patient with, let's see here, gender female, and birth date is 1908. Now again, this is a way of combining multiple search parameters. You can also add more in here. So let's see this name, again, it's Jane. So if I also say and name equals Jane, then I only get 14 patients. Again, there is 14 patients with name Jane. But again, you can use this with other fields as well. So you can say, for example, give me all females and sort them by last updated. So, and I'm actually doing minus last updated. So this will give me the most recent. Okay, it's probably it's underscore last updated. Yeah. So we got underscore last updated. And so this gives me the patient who was last updated, right? And again, we got a female. And again, here again, we have Sarah Johnson, who's a female, and this patient was last updated on 28 of this month, which was just day before yesterday. So you could use all of this together and get the subset of patients that you are looking for. Now, search is again quite an extensive topic. We just covered the tip of the iceberg on what you can do. I will leave a lot more resources down below, and if you want to actually understand search in depth, I really recommend looking at the FHIR specs on the search page, right? You have almost everything you need, but it's quite extensive. I also have other videos that talk about different aspects of search. But if you want to just start searching a patient, it's again just a GET request. So you can also do this on the browser, and all of the search parameters apply, and you are able to get the patients that you are looking for. Now, this applies for every single FHIR resource.